with honorable mentions to Nick Fatiou, Link Gates, Shane Gostisbehere, Valeri Zalapukin, Nino Niederreiter, and Bronco Horvath. Here are my favorite hockey names. So these are hockey players basically from the era that I've watched hockey. Bronco Horvath is the one throwback to an era before I watched hockey. I'm not that old. That I'm going to go with. But this is a list, and I'm following by my rule, which is don't do the list before you do the video, Shannon. Just do the list while you do the video. Number 20. Well, if I have to rate, you have to get one off the list. Jeff Bukaboom. Amazing name. Absolutely amazing name. And there were some really good names for those Oilers in the 80s. There were. Reijo Ristolainen is one that stands out as should have been an honorable mention, so I'll throw it in now as one. And there were others too. But Bukaboom for me is the one from those Oilers that gets on the list. So that's number 20. I'll go ahead and cross that off with the pen. If I screw up the pen and the marker, we're going to have a problem. Number 19. When I was prepping for this video, I looked around at a lot of people's lists, and a lot of people had Zarley Zalapski in their top 10. For me, it's a fun name, but I don't have it in the top 10, and it barely makes the top 20. And you have to make the NHL to be on this list. So you're not going to see Colton Saucerman. You're not going to see Xavier Magic, which I agree. I saw it in the comments. Greatest name in hockey history, but didn't make the NHL. So Lubomir Veitch is one as well that should get an honorable mention. There's a lot of honorable mentions in this one, and I would imagine that will probably be the second list. I'll do a Watch Mojo on this. I just know it that I'll have 20 hockey names and then another 20 great hockey names, right? Where they'll have here's our most popular list, and here's another one. Here's another one. Oh, if you don't agree with this list, go look at our other list. All right. That being said, I've got Zarley Zalapski. I haven't scratched him out. We'll go ahead and scratch him out. And we'll move on to number 18. Nikolai Khabibulin. That's a great name. And the way Don Taylor would announce it on Sports Page makes the save with his left Habby or his right Bulin. It's a great name. I have a lot of fun with, and great, absolutely great name for hockey. With a name like Nikolai Khabibulin, there's no other sport you could play. You have to be a hockey player. That's just a rule. So I'll go ahead, make the little cross out right there. Number 17. Yeah, I'll put him in here. You know, Marvel has a lot of alliteration to their names. So Cal Clutterbuck and Zarley Zalapski may eventually be names of superheroes or supervillains. But Cal Clutterbuck is a great name. And because when he came into the league, I called him Clutterbuck. It's a family-friendly show, Shannon. Anyways, Cal Clutterbuck, great name. Again, great hockey player. He may have said, I'm going to be a doctor, and somebody looked at his name and went, no, you're a hockey player. I don't want to be a hockey player. Well, go learn how to skate, boy, because you're a hockey player. Number 16 is tricky. This is where I'm already into, like, I don't want to choose. Zenon Konopka. Great name. Fantastic name. That's and then, of course, he's an enforcer. A name like that, Zenon, kind of got to be an enforcer. Can be on the ice with guys who are chirping you. Eventually, an enforcer happens. And with a name like that, you're not only an enforcer, you're kind of an intimidating enforcer as well. And there's a lot of Z's on this list, considering Z is not a very popular letter. Yeah, see what I did there? I had the American, and then I threw in the Canadian as well. Big people guess. But yeah, for me, 16 is Konopka. Number 15. I know most people have this name higher up. Miroslav Shatan. If Shatan wanted to be higher up on the list, he had to do one thing. Play for the Devils. All he had to do at one point in his career is play for New Jersey. And that would have been the most popular jersey, I think, in history. Would have been Devils with Shaitan on the back. And then we'll discuss how many sixes would have been on the back of his jersey. Because, come on. They missed the bar, or missed the ball, or dropped the ball on that one. So did he. And every time he was a free agent, I'm like, come on, New Jersey. Oh, no, he's not New Jersey. So, yeah, for me, Shaitan, it's funny because, you know, I used to always say, yeah, Shaitan, we know what it really says. But, hey, you know, I'll leave that be. Number 14. Radek Bonk. So because of what Bonk is in English, we look at Bonk and say that's a funny last name, isn't it? Even though in his native language it probably just means hitting somebody on the head with something. So yeah, Radek Bonk for me is 14. I don't have a problem with that. Being ahead of Shaitan. I know there's some people who may. And again, this isn't just some random list. This is names. Basically, these are going to be names of guys that when they would play the puck, I would have to say their name. Marek Svatos gets an honorable mention too. Svatos is not on the list, but the first year he came up, I had no idea who he was. So every time he played, either in real hockey or in an NHL game I was playing, every time he touched the puck, I said, "What's a Svatos?" Because I had no idea what that guy, who he was, or what was going on there. Number 13. This one's a mouthful. Merlin Malinowski. Great name. Merlin Malinowski was a guy that played in the 70s and 80s. He's an obscure player. But as a kid who collected hockey cards, Merlin Malinowski was one that when I saw it, I was like... And then, you know, I had to learn how to say it. You know, and just, it was so much fun to learn how to say it. Not as much fun as the name that's going to be higher up on the list. Some people know what name's going to be on the list. Some people are already ahead of me on this one, and love you guys for being ahead of me on this one. But yeah, so for me, Merlin Malinowski's number 13. Number 12. Yeah, I'll go with this one. Milan Hajduk. Why? Because every time he touched the puck, I yelled, "Hey, Duke!" And the funny part was he played for the Czech Olympic team. I didn't know who he was, and then all of a sudden he's over here playing with Colorado, and he's one of the best scorers in the league. So he was a late bloomer at the NHL level. I think if he'd played his entire career in the NHL, who knows what kind of fame he might have. But "Hey, Duke" was fun to yell during a game. No, Riccola's not on the board. I don't feel like Jussi Ricola has played enough in the NHL for me to put him in my list of top 20 all-time favorite names. But give Ricola some time, and if he plays enough, yes, Ricola will factor into the top 10 in all likelihood. Which means for Jeff Bukaboom, that'd be the end of it for him. So, sorry. So yeah, hey Duke, did I cross that out? I certainly did. Number 11. Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. I don't want to take any of them out, but I'll take this one out before the top 10. If you're Finnish and watching this, you guys have the greatest names in the history of the world. Jarkko Ruutu is one of those ones too. We used to use that as like a Marco Polo thing at my job 20 years ago. Jarkko Ruutu. Jarkko Ruutu. Like we would do that because we were bored. When you've got an assembly line type job that's just kind of boring and you're cold, you'll make up games. And Jarkko Ruutu was our version of playing Marco Polo. So, yeah, Jarkko Ruutu. Great one. And I had to decide between Ruutus which one to put up there. Like, Tuomo? No, Jarkko. Go with Jarkko. Because Jarkko was the one that I had fun with. Honorable mention as well to Bert Robertson. Just because, hey, Bert, was what I would say when Bert Robertson played the puck. Anyhow, hey, Bert. Okay. Sadly, he never played with anybody named Ernie. Again, opportunity missed. Bert Robertson never played with anybody named Ernie, as far as I know. Because that's what I wanted. I'm like, Bert Robertson, have somebody named Ernie with him. No? Well, screw you then. All right. Number 10, top 10. I swear I'm stone sober. I swear I am. Number 10. I've held on to this one as much as I can. Gotta let this one go as number 10. Hawk and Lube. Great name. A player who left the NHL while in his prime. He didn't wait until he was done as an NHLer. He played for a while, and then, okay, I won a Stanley Cup. I'm going home. Full marks to him. And Hawk and Lube is a fantastic name, even if it sounds like something you do after a long run. Hawk and Lube. It's a great name. It's fun to say. I think there's a therapeutic effect of some of these names. I do. So yeah, Hawken is top 10. Hawken. Number 9. Zemgus Girgensons, currently of the Buffalo Sabres. That's a word salad and a half, isn't it? This Zemgus Girgensons looks like when you're playing Scrabble. That's right. Somebody's yelling it at their TV right now. When you're playing Scrabble, and these are the words you have left, and you try to play it, and somebody goes, Girgensons. It's a word. Use it in a sentence. I don't have a Girgensons? Yeah, whatever. It doesn't count. And Zemgus, kind of the same thing. What's a Zemgus? It's a part of a car. It's not, though. So yeah, Zemgus Girgensons is a great name, and would probably be a triple word score on Scrabble as well. Yeah, and it uses the letter Z, which, as I've said, the letter Z comes up a lot with this, and the letter K comes up a ton as we get further up this chart. Number 8. Oh, I want to hold on to this one longer. I do. I'd like to put this one higher up, but I can't justify it. Darcy Wakaluk. Wakaluk is a fantastic last name. Darcy Wakaluk was... I was very upset when he left Dallas. Put it that way. I was very upset when Darcy Wakaluk wasn't the backup goalie anymore. I didn't care that he wasn't very good at that stage in his career. I wanted him to stay in Dallas forever. Or go to Vancouver or go to Boston. I loved Wakaluk. Because Wakaluk just sounds... It's like Mukluk, but better. It's a fantastic word, and I enjoy it. And I'm sad that there hasn't been a Wakaluk in the NHL since then. He should have had numerous children that could come up and be playing right now in the NHL, so we could have numerous Wakaluks to enjoy. But instead, I am Wakalukless. Number 7. Yeah, I can't hold on to this one any longer either. I believe he's still playing overseas. Wojtek Wolski. Or, as my friend Kimber and I used to call him at work, Voltron. That's what we called him. Yeah, Wojtek Wolski turned into Voltron, and then he'd score a goal, and the next day at work was, hey, did you see Voltron? Yeah, he got a goal last night. I never said at the start of this countdown, nor did I ever mean to imply that any of this would be particularly entertaining to anybody that wasn't me. But Voltron is still fantastic. So I can't get Wojtek Wolski higher. And again, it's a supervillain from Marvel because there's 2 W's here. So clearly supervillain territory there. But for me, Wojtek Wolski's number 7. Number 6. Oh, this is tough. Oh, there's so much Finnish goodness in this. People from Finland are going to love this list. Kari Taco. Kari Taco at one point when I was looking at information for this video and trying to find other people's lists, and of course adding guys that nobody mentioned like Darcy Wakaluk or Wojtek Wolski. Kari Taco. Taco at one point was traded for Bruce Bell, which means it was the Taco Bell trade, which I don't know what I'm more angry about. The fact that this occurred and it wasn't a big funny punchline at the time, or that I didn't see it at the time when Kari Taco was traded. Yeah, Taco. Kari Taco. Amazing name. I always wanted him to like win a Vezina and win Stanley Cups just so Kari Taco would have his name in lights, but not quite. This might be as good as it gets for him. If he's watching this now, I'm sorry. That's probably as good as it's going to. I'm really, really sorry. Number 5. And he's number 1 on a lot of lists. And pear juice is the reason Christian juice isn't on the list. I can only have one juice on the list. I made that a rule. So I had to choose between Christian juice and pear juice. And I went with pear juice because it's great. There's pear and there's juice. You put them together, you have pear juice. There is no better way to describe it than that. And for that reason, it's barely eking out Christian juice. Barely eking out Christian juice, which sounds so nasty when I say it like that. So I just need to not say it like that. Number 4. And number 4 was so much fun to say. Again, there's a lot of Dallas stars on this list. There's part of the reason I love Dallas so much might have been the fact they had Kari Taco and Jarkko Varvio. Jarkko Varvio to me sounds like a chant. Sounds like something you yell to the kids when you want them to do something. Jarkko Varvio! And then, you get in the car. Maybe that's get in the car and finish. I don't know. But Jarkko Varvio is just, it's a great name. It's fun to say. Again, therapy reasons. It's very therapeutic. It is one of the most fun names to say that any hockey player has ever had. And I was so disappointed when his NHL career was a short one. I was very upset when Jarkko Varvio was not this big, huge, smashing success at the NHL level. At number 3, well, I can't hold on to this one anymore either. I double checked the spelling on this one too. Sven Butenschon, German player, who had an interesting career, short at the NHL level, but played a ton everywhere, and now he's a coach, German coach, Sven Butenschon. It's fun. Because there's a Sven, and then there's a Butenschon. And Butenschon is a great name. So I was a huge fan of his. I wanted him to play for the Canucks. I wanted him to play well for the Canucks. I wanted to see Sven Butenschon in the regular lineup. Preferably with the Jyrki Lumme, even though Lumme is not on the chart. I know. I don't have Lumme in the top 20 names. I apologize to Jyrki Lumme fans who've come in expecting a Jyrki Lumme moment. It's not going to happen unless this is it. Sven Butenschon was just a great name. Fantastic name. Number 2, I don't need to keep crossing them off because I know which ones I've got left here. Number 2. Jyrki Yoki Paka. Oh, Jyrki. Why couldn't it work out for you at the NHL level? Why did you have to bounce around the league and then bounce out of the league? Why couldn't Jyrki Yoki Paka work? It is a great, fantastic name. And listening to guys try to say Jyrki Yoki Paka was fantastic. And then he's gone. Like Kaiser Soze, he disappears into the night. Or, well, Kaiser Soze disappeared into the day. And then when you find out, you're like, holy crap, he was Kaiser Soze the whole time. Yeah, Jyrki Yoki Paka. Great name. Forever missed. Now, people are ahead of me on this one. There are people right now who are like, I know who's number 1. My mother watching this would be like, oh, is he really going to have... Seriously? Yeah. There was one name I practiced a lot when I was a little kid. There's one guy whose hockey cards I try to collect because there aren't very many of them. And I may be the only fan of his left from that era who wanted so badly to see a Norris Trophy for Pekka Radicalio. And the thing with Pekka Radicalio is this. He actually had really good stats. He was actually a pretty solid defenseman. But with the name Pekka Radicalio, that's why Pekka Rinne's not on there. Because Pekka Rinne has sort of a quality of flash and dash, but it's not a Radicalio. Nothing is. So for me, the number 1 name in hockey history is still Pekka Radicalio. And I did a lot of work on coming up with this list. I'm very proud of the amount of work that I put in to come up with this list. The amount of time I put in yesterday on it to the point where I was like, I don't know if this is worth it, but I'm going to keep going. Pekka Radicalio. I used to say the name a lot with my hockey cards. I practice it a ton. I used to play with my hockey cards in my room, and I would have like little games between everybody. The Canucks were unbeaten, by the way. But, man, you'd hear Pekka Radicalio a lot, to the point where my mother knew who he was because of me. The sad thing is, while I was playing with my hockey cards and using the name Pekka Radicalio, he'd already gone home to Finland. He didn't stay with the Calgary Flames, which is an absolute crying shame. But there you go. Top 20 names in hockey. Let me know some names that you guys feel that I might have missed. I didn't miss any. I went through every list I could find. Now, if there's guys that you feel are missing, odds are they haven't come up to the NHL yet. If you're thinking of guys like Bear Trap, I'm ahead of you. I want Bear Trap in the NHL badly. But I had to go by guys who made the NHL. Because if I went with just hockey players, and if I included everybody, including Colton Saucerman, of course, the list would have been just insane to put together. I don't think I could have done it. Because there would have been players I would have missed. But there you go. Top 20. Let me know your picks, that kind of thing. Just kind of a fun list in January when it's cold out and everything, at least if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And I'll talk to you again soon.